Welcome back to Season 2 of Dude Where's My Cards. In Episode 2, we will be gathering the mob, arming the knights, and reinforcing in this review of Reinforcements. Hey guys, welcome to Episode 2. We'll be reviewing Reinforcements coming to Kickstarter soon. Kyle, what was your first thoughts on Reinforcements?
I didn't know what to expect at first. I heard it was a take on war, so I was expecting some kind of war game just with a couple other rules, but it was something completely different, so I was quite enjoying myself.
From a initial, designer standpoint, when I saw the cards initially through Facebook when we were applying for the copies, took a look at it and it kind of did, strike me like a little normal deck of cards almost with some unique art. So I was kind of curious what they were doing. They said they had taken a twist on war, but yet to me it struck me as a normal deck at first. So I was kind of curious and wanted to see what else was going on here. Didn't want to be too biased, so I just waited till we got a copy to look at it and was pleasantly surprised by everything in the box, the art, and that it really isn't just a normal deck of cards. No. You can't just take a deck and play this game. It does involve different numbers and sets, so I was actually really pleased to see that right off the hop. Yeah. So just quickly, what Reinforcements is and what you do. So in the game, you'll be starting with a handful of 5 cards, placing 3 foundation cards right in front of you from that hand. That kind of starts as your original, life. Because once you run out of cards in front of you, you lose. Yeah. The game is played from 2 to 4 players. We've played it 3 players often, and it works really well in that situation. Yep. Works well in 2, and it also works well in 4, so that's good. So it is a true 2 to 4. On your turn, you can do one of 3 actions. You can attack another player's card, whether it be face up or face down. You can defend or bolster your own foundation, so build up. Every foundation builds up to a maximum of 3. Or you can discard your hand to redraw at the start, because the start of the turn is when you draw. You're always drawing up to 5 cards, unless you complete a foundation that gives you a bonus for that situation. So as you're building up, like I said, those foundations, they all have to be the same suit or color. So there's the red, the green, and the blue, each with their own unique abilities and passives, which they gave us on these helpful little cheat sheets right here, which is awesome. So really enjoyed that take on it, and like I said, most cards are numbered 1 through 7. There's majority of 1s in the deck, and I think only 1 7 of each color. Yep. So it's pretty balanced that way. So it's higher loaded onto the lower end. Was interesting playthrough. There's those 3 specialty cards. Kyle, you want to go through what those ones kind of were for the specialties? I think they got even on here for us.
So with the assassin, there was 3 different kinds: assassin, mage, and a peasant ability. The assassin ability allows you to take out any card in the stack. Doesn't matter if it's on the top, the middle, or the bottom.
Yeah, because typically when you attack, you always have to attack the top card of the stack.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the assassin allows you to bypass if somebody's hoarding a 7 at the bottom. The mage ability lets you destroy the top 2 cards of any stack. It doesn't matter what number they are or anything, it just takes them out. And if you can obtain 5 peasants in your hand, you get to eliminate the entire stack of what you want.
So those are the specialty cards. Each color has their own unique ability as well. They have a passive as well as an active ability. So each turn you can only perform 1 action: attack, defend, or discard. But you can activate as many actives once a turn and use the passives once as well each turn. Yeah. So the red allows you the ability to attack for free using red cards either from your hand or from your stack. So you can actually self-destruct your 1 card into another player. The passive from the red is while you're using a red, you always win ties. So ties in this game work like the traditional war, which is really cool. Yeah. I found that was one of the funnest parts.
Yeah.
When you tie with another card, each of you yell Reinforcements, and the defender gets to draw first. You each draw a card from the top and flip until you determine a winner. So it continues if you tie and tie and tie. Sometimes you get 3 or 4 chains like we had. Yeah. But the red allows you to, even if you tie, you win, as long as it was a red card that you attacked with. Blue has defensive capabilities, so blues allow you to stack blue stacks up to 4. giving you an extra free slot.
Yep.
And then their passive allows you to play a blue card from your hand to defend another blue stack. So in a way, you kind of can end up with 5 cards, kind of always defending for the blue.
Absorbing some damage.
So blue's pretty underrated. The first time we played through, we didn't really see the value when we started the game, but blue's probably one of the strongest ones late game to have left, which was, we found out a lot. The green, green's passive abilities allows you to, I think, draw another card, so it gives you a maximum hand size of 6. It's 1 card per stack. So if you had 3 greens, you would draw 3 additional cards. True, So it allows you to draw 1 additional card for every stack revealed. Also allows you to switch the positioning of your green cards up to 2, or swap a green card that's face up from your hand. So it gives you a little bolstering if you need it, if you have a better green in your hand than one you played on the field. So that's the abilities for each of them. So each one has a very unique feel, a different reason. You have utility, defense, and offense. On top of that, we have kind of these 4 totems.
Yes.
You want to touch on the totems a bit, Kyle?
So there's 1 for each color, and then there's a special totem that you can get after you reveal 3 stacks of different colors.
Yeah.
So for blue, I believe it's the Guardian Elk.
Yeah.
So you get to draw 3 cards, and then you get to defend 3 times using any cards in your hand.
Yeah, so if you reveal 2 blue cards, you get the Elk totem card.
Yeah.
You can use this whenever. It's a free use at one time. Once it's used, though, it goes back into the availability for somebody else to get if they're able to.
Yeah.
I could touch on the green one. So the green's ability, the Elusive Chameleon, allows you to switch any of your stacks with an opponent's stack. And the red one is the Berserker Worm, which just eliminates any 3 cards currently played on the field. So that could be 3 in one row, 3 in any row. So kind of like the Mage, but a little bit on steroids. And the last one, Kyle's for you. You get to go through that one.
Hero of the People. So you can defend any attack at any time for 1-time use, which is very helpful against those assassins. Or if a peasant attack.
Let's jump over to here for a sec. So we'll kind of go through some of these as we're going through our rubric a bit. Figured we give the box a little bit glory here. So like we said, plays an average of 20 to 60 minutes is what the box had said. I think most of our playthroughs, even in the early, were about that 30 to 40 minute at 3 players.
Yeah.
So definitely stays true to that. Ages 10 plus, most certainly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So since we got the art here, we got kind of the idea here, we'll jump right into it. Out of 5, Kyle, theme. What did you rate this game for theme?
I gave it a 4. I really liked that, I came in expecting war, but with the different colors, you have like a different, different factions, obviously, because they're different colors, but if you look at the Monarchs for blue, it has antlers, and even the Totem for blue, it's all antlers and wildlife and forest, and then green is more chameleon, is their theme mascot for their totem.
Yeah.
And then red is dragon, and you can see that in the cards as well. So I like that they blended. A worm. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, Berserker.
No
worm.
Wings.
I apologize. A worm. So a worm cult is very cool.
Yeah.
I like how they kept it all
thematic with these themes.
Yeah. Exactly.
I gave it a 3. Generic fantasy always kind of gets that 3. Nothing super strikingly new to me, but I think it's done well. Not a lot of story to it. Nothing that really grabs me for it, but at its core, I think they still did a really good job wrapping a nice little theme to it. Design-wise, I mean, outside of the totems, we're not seeing anything crazy new. The art styles kind of stick to the themes, like you'd said, but it's just, they're regular playing cards with some theme to it. So 3 for me. Not terrible, but it's still good fantasy. Rules, Kyle, out of 5. What did you kind of get from the rules for this game?
I gave it a 5. On the box that you get a little QR code, and it sends you to a website.
Well, I think actually in the actual, this isn't our producer copy, but on their actual copy, they should get rule books too.
Okay.
But the QR to the website is very helpful.
Yeah.
They have those little images of how to play.
Yeah, the images, and it's really well written on how to explain. Like, there's a lot of rules. Like, there's a lot to go through, and yeah, it takes a couple times to go through it, but the rules are there. It explains how to do everything.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very clear.
For us, from the design's point for me, the rules were 3. They're very well written, they're very well laid out, but they are intimidating as all hell because there's so many of them.
I guess that's true.
The game isn't that overly complicated once you get playing. It's very simple and straightforward, and one reference sheet covers you. But looking at the rules the first time was daunting. A lot of rules were missed or misunderstood on our first playthroughs, which I was able to clarify with the actual designer. But how often can you reach out to a designer of a game?
Yeah.
So for me, it was a 3. Like, they are very well written, but they are so intimidating, and there's so many of them that they can be overwhelming.
Yeah. Even these cards, like these rule cards, this pretty much explains everything.
Once I've understood the rule book thoroughly, I can explain it much easier to a person.
Okay.
While reading through, if I am the person teaching it to other ones, the initial read through is hard.
Yeah.
But the reteaching is very well done and easy because the game is at its core easy. It's just the rules were daunting. So 3 for me. I do like everything they put into it, but it was just a lot missed on our part from playing because there's just so much to go through. And when we looked at it, we actually were scared. Like, we almost didn't want to play the game when we looked at the rules initially because there's just so much from the QR. It might be different in the actual rulebook.
The actual rulebook.
They might have fixed that. Just in the version that we had looked at, that was a big issue for me. We can jump to the screen here because I got the cards closer up, but we can kind of look at the layout here. I'll jump for this one. From my designing perspective, when I look at the layout, I gave it a 4. I mean, there's nothing, super unique, super crazy about these cards, but they're a twist on your regular playing card. There's nothing about this card that I'm confused about. I know what it has, I know what it is, I know what color it is, so from a design perspective and a layout of the card and the information I need, it's all there. Obviously, it's nothing crazy or unique, but I do like how they still twisted the regular playing card. So I'll give it a 4 for the layout.
Yeah, I also give it a 4 for most of those points. Like, it's a playing card. It's a playing card that's perfected for what it is.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of a twist. They still kept the numbers. They kept the color. And yeah, it's perfectly, I don't know what more you want from a card.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly what it is.
Yeah, just nothing that's very different.
Nothing that's really different.
But it's really, it's like perfecting the simple things.
Yeah, the different ones, like the assassin and the mage, they look different. And they still have the numbers.
Yeah, we can see the couple of unique ones.
Yeah, they still have the numbers, but then they don't. You still have your rule sheet anyway, so you know exactly what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Art. Well, I got this up to. I'll jump to some of these ones because these are those totem cards we were talking about here. Art, Kyle, what did you find for the art for these cards?
I gave it a 4. I like what they did with the totem cards. I think they're really, really well designed. And then, back to the theme. I like how they played it with the peasants and the soldiers and all the numbers all the way up to 7 with the color. And how that, I think it looks good.
Yeah, so looking at here too, I pulled up, this is what comes within the box. So it does look like there's the rule book in there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's what you get from when they back on Kickstarter, so that'll be what has. But I'll jump to the reds because I really like the red colors. Me for art, it's a 3. It's well done, but nothing mind-blowing, super stylish. It's really good for a small designer, and but it's also at the core really simple.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So there's nothing crazy about it. It's not also my personal favorite way. It's a vector style art. It's not really a favorite of mine, but I think it does a good enough job.
Yes.
Average. So I gave it a 3.
Yeah. I thought they were doing a play on like the queens and the jacks and the kings, where it's just kind of stationary, but you still get the gist of what they are.
Yeah.
With the different weapons that they have.
Complexity of the game, so what we interpreted the game versus how we enjoyed it, if we thought it was overly complex or under-complexed or just daunting. What did you kind of rate it on complexity?
I gave it a 4. At first, seemed like it was super complex. It was going to be super hard to learn.
Like while you're reading the rule book?
While you're reading the rule book. And then once you start playing, it becomes a little bit easier. But then once you start activating your stacks, you start realizing that there's all kinds of different strategies you can do. And if you want green right away to get a bigger hand size, you can play more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I gave it a 4. I thought there is strategy there. There's lots of strategy, especially when you get down to the late game with the 1v1. You have to think about what you want to play.
Yeah, I'll jump to this for now. Complexity for me, I agree with you. It's the 4. For pretty much the same reasons. I mean, the game has depth to it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we were expecting war, like a subtle playoff of war.
Yeah.
So it exceeded that. It's not war. It's a
No.
completely unique game. Definitely you can see the inspiration, but that's where it ends. Other than that, like, reinforcements
other
period,
than the
that's
tie.
pretty much the only true, you know, war-esque feeling from this game. So in that sense, yeah, I really enjoyed the complexity, that it was more than what I expected. Didn't seem overly complicated. There are, you know, depth to some of the strategies of why you'd want to play cards and what you would play and why you play bigger cards or hold bigger cards so you can attack with them.
Yep.
So 4, I think it's just above average for that. It deserves that. Obviously, we both agree there, so that's good.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about how we enjoyed playing the game, what we're doing the game, so this won't be a big surprise, but the next 2 categories for gameplay and replayability, out of 10, gameplay for myself was 8. I thoroughly enjoyed playing this game. Even, you know, typically I start really high of games, and then when we play it again, it kind of, you know, dwindles its gameplay for me a bit, or its replayability drops. Gameplay stayed pretty consistent. It was just as good the first time, the second time, the third time. So it's stationary. So really good speaking. So it's an 8 for me.
Yep. I also gave it an 8 for lots of the same reasons as Jordan. It was just like every time you pick up the deck, you're like, okay, well, last time I loaded up on a bunch of blue stacks. Well, now this time I can go green, or I can try and go for a totem.
Yeah.
And change up my gameplay. And yeah, so.
Yeah,
different strategies. And
8 for 8, and then you talk about picking the deck back up. Let's jump into replayability. So you gave it an 8 for gameplay. What did you rate the replayability factor in this game?
I gave it a 9. I could pick up this game anytime, and for 20 to 30 minutes, I would have a great time. I could replay it, and I would not be sad.
Yeah. Replayability, same for gameplay for me. It's an 8. This game is great. It is a small box. It is an instant favorite amongst us. You know, small box, take it with you wherever you are. Play it in between games. It isn't overly complicated to teach. It's very easy to jump in, jump out, and I think it just was always going to be one of those ones that I'll be tagging along, carrying with me.
Yeah.
So it's going to be part of my collection now. So big fan of this one for replayability. Isn't something I instantly need to play right away, but it is going to be something that I will continue to play week after week.
Okay, yeah.
Cost satisfaction, the last stat for us. Out of 5, this game will be coming to Kickstarter. It will be $24 American, which roughly brings us to $30 Canadian.
Yep.
Kyle, how does that satisfy your cost when you purchase it?
I give it a 4. I really love this game. So I would be I would be really happy paying $30 for it. The only reason I didn't give it a 5 was
$30.
$30, but
it's more than you expect.
It's more than you expect, because when you look at the box, like what's coming on Kickstarter is a little bit better than
the copy we received.
Just the copy we received, where it's just the deck box.
Yeah.
But for $30, and when it comes with that, then yeah, I can see that.
So when I do it, cost satisfaction is a 4 for me too. This game is an instant buy for me. When I was thinking about it, the price tag of 30 Canadian, I would have initially thought around 20 to 25. You know.
Yeah.
30 Canadian was a little bit more shocking to me, and I actually was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to take a huge hit on my cost satisfaction, because that is way more than I would want to originally spend for a game if I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But then I really thought about how much I enjoyed the game, how much costs have just increased everything right now. Like, I'm still stuck in that, like, I love that $20 to $25 price range. 30 isn't that big of a jump from it. It really isn't.
No, it isn't. No.
It's just not 30 isn't my instant buy, instant enjoy. But when I played this game, so, you know, initially I was like, I gotta drop it to a 3. Yeah. Like, it's a great game and all. Okay. But then I'm like, you know what? No, it is really worth that. It is worth the $30, but it might be intimidating at first.
Yeah.
So it stuck itself at a 4 for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, originally when I heard the price, I was like, oh, that's a lot. But when I think about it, when I think about the enjoyment I get out of it, it really isn't. So a 4 is where I sit it. So out of a grand score of 50. Kyle, what do you got?
I have 42 out of 50. I scored this quite high.
I have 37. It's also, that don't let that sound like under 40 is a bad thing. That's a terrific score for me from a design perspective. I think they did a really good job. They took a really good twist on this game. So, back or pass, this game is a back.
Yep, definitely
Agreed?
back.
Yeah. Final thoughts on it? Like I said, from a design perspective, I think this game is worth playing. They took a very simple game of war and twisted it to a board game, a strategy board game.
Yep.
And they did such a terrific job at it. There's lots of points you can pick up and learn how they took an initial idea and expanded on it and made it their own. So from a design perspective, I really think that's one of the key elements to this game. From a player's perspective, Kyle, why do you think this game would be worth it for picking up?
It's super simple. Like, that's all. Like, after you get through the initial rules and once you start playing, like, the second playthrough, it's so simple because you just have cards 1 to 7 and you're just building stacks.
Yeah.
And then you're attacking it. It's like, and then the twist on war.
Yeah.
So,
you're just playing to beat. There's lots of rules like we didn't go through. You can definitely check it out. Please feel free to check it out on Kickstarter. It'll be coming out. The game is called Reinforcements. It is developed by Peasant Mob. Quick shout out to the designers, Brennan Call, Nick Brown, and Jack Collins. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of your guys' names. Shout out to Jack Collins, one of the designers who actually did the art for the game as well. Yeah. Very good job, guys. And look forward to seeing it on Kickstarter. Hey guys, just a quick update on Reinforcements. Jump over here. So Reinforcements is live on Kickstarter right now. It has 21 days to go. They're at about 39,000 pledged, 626 backers. So the game will be going out. It's been successfully backed. So please take a look, see if it's for you guys. It will be available. That's it. Just wanted to check in.
Thank you for tuning in to the DWMC podcast, a Paragon Professional Services production. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any comments or concerns about what you have heard, send us an email, contact@paragonstudiosmb.com. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you consume your podcasts, and leave a comment with a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. For those of you watching on YouTube, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below.